I'm going to have Michael place his arm out to the side. If you're a therapist doing this on a patient, you want to palpate the glenohumeral joint, and then you want to have the patient slowly go into internal and external. Once you find that you get a little bit of space in that joint, you're going to tell the patient to stop. So for Michael... Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Steven here with Team U4, and today I'm joined by Michael from One Body, and today we're going to be teaching you how to be your own therapist by demonstrating the top 5 ELDOA exercises for shoulder pain, and we don't want to waste your time, so let's get on with the ELDOA exercises. The first ELDOA exercise for shoulder pain is going to be the T8, T9 ELDOA. For the T8, T9 ELDOA, you want to be in a seated position and you want your heels roughly in line with your ischial tuberosities. If you don't know where that is, roughly one fist width apart. So you can place one fist, and then from that position, what you want to do is go into maximum flexion of hips and knees until your lumbar spine starts to round. As soon as your lumbar spine starts to round, that's your maximum amount of flexion that you had in your hips. You want to stop right there. From this position, we want to start from the ground up. So Michael is going to raise his big toe toward the sky. With the navicular bone, he wants to collapse the arch by bringing the navicular into internal rotation. He's going to go into external rotation of the tibia, medial rotation of the femur. So he's squeezing his knees together. Then he's going to take one arm at a time, go into maximum extension of elbow and wrist, maximum external rotation of the shoulder, and then raise the arms right up overhead. For this exercise at the head, we want to maintain retropulsion, so he's tucking the chin in, pushing the crown of the head toward the ceiling. His eyes are looking down at the floor to put the dura mater under tension, and with the palms, he's pushing up toward the sky. So once again, toe up, flat arch, external rotation tibia, internal of the femur, squeeze the knees together, get nice and tall with the spine, tall, chin tucked in, crown of the head up, palms pushing up, and that is the T8, T9 ELDOA. The second ELDOA exercise for shoulder pain is going to be the T6, T7 ELDOA. For the T6, T7 ELDOA, Michael is crossing his legs, he's pushing his knees down toward the floor, and then with this one, everything else is the same. We are maintaining retroversion of the pelvis, a nice flat spine, chin is tucked in, crown of the head is pushing up toward the sky, eyes are looking down at the floor to put the dura mater under tension, and then with the shoulders, Michael wants to take his hands and he's going to gently put his fingertips toward each other. Not so tough that if you were to place a piece of paper, you wouldn't be able to wiggle it. If you had a piece of paper between your fingers, you should be able to glide it up and down with very little resistance. If you can't, then you're squeezing too hard. And then from this position, Michael is going to go into full extension of the elbows by raising his hands as high toward the ceiling as he can and applying a gentle pressure with his fingertips. And that is the T6, T7 ELDOA. Next, the third ELDOA exercise for shoulder pain is going to be the T2, T3 ELDOA. For this one right over here, Michael is going to be in a kneeling position and he's going to go into flexion of the hips by bringing his butt toward his heels. From this position, Michael wants to maintain a neutral spine. At the cervical spine, his chin is tucked in, the crown of the head is pushing away from the body, and he's flexing the cervical spine. And then with the arms, maximum flexion of the shoulders, maximum extension of elbow and wrist, maximum external rotation of the shoulders. And then with his palms, he's pushing his palms out and away from his body. And that is the T2, T3 ELDOA. Next, the fourth ELDOA exercise for shoulder pain is going to be for the glenohumeral joint. For the GH ELDOA, ideally you want to do this one sitting on your calves. If you cannot sit onto your calves, you can also do it from a seated position if that's a little bit more comfortable. What we want to do for this one, I'm going to have Michael place his arm out to the side. If you're a therapist doing this on a patient, you want to palpate the glenohumeral joint, and then you want to have the patient slowly go into internal and external. Once you find that you get a little bit of space in that joint, you're going to tell the patient to stop. So for Michael, that's right where I want him to stop. And then with the opposite arm, he's going to go into maximum extension of elbow and wrist, maximum external rotation, and he's going to extend his arm beyond the coronal plane by bringing his arm into extension behind the midline of the body. From this position over here, chin is tucked in, crown of the head is pushing up toward the sky, eyes are looking down at the floor to put the dura mater under tension. With the arm that's not working, he's pushing down toward the floor. And then with the GH that we are trying to create space in, he's pushing his palm out and away from his body. And that is the GH ELDOA for the glenohumeral joint. And then last, the fifth and final ELDOA exercise for shoulder pain is going to be for the AC joint. For the AC joint, I'm going to have Michael face the camera head on. And what we want to do for this one, Michael wants to, once again, ideally you would want to do this one sitting on your calves. If you can't, you can go in a seated position. But what you're going to do is take your arm, maximum extension of elbow and wrist, maximum external rotation, and then go into extension of the humerus by bringing the arm beyond the coronal plane, so beyond the midline. And then with the opposite arm, you want to palpate at the acromion. So you're going to palpate at the AC joint. Then the chin, he's keeping the chin tucked in. He is going into lateral flexion of the cervical spine, and then he is going into ipsilateral rotation by looking up toward the sky. And then this right over here is the ELDOA for the AC joint. So once again, pushing down, palpating at the AC joint, and pushing up with the crown of the head toward the sky. And those were the top 5 ELDOA exercises for shoulder pain. And there you have it. Those were the top 5 ELDOA exercises for shoulder pain. If you are somebody who suffers from shoulder pain, or if you are a clinician who treats patients with shoulder pain, give those exercises a try. And if you want a little bit more information on things that you can do, come to our seminar on September 18th. And if you guys have any questions at all with regard to any of the exercises or anything that you would like to know, ask your questions down in the comment section, and we would love to answer any questions that you guys have. Next week, this Friday coming up at 2 p.m., we're going to be going over the squat and what exactly you need to be doing in the thoracic region. So be on the lookout for that. Again, Friday at 2 p.m. But that's pretty much it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to smash that like button so we know to keep making these types of videos in the future. And if you're either new to the channel or haven't subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, as we will be uploading new videos every single day. That's it for today's video. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you again tomorrow.